So as promised, we want to start talking about the wild horse and how it impacts different areas of our lives. But before we start, I think it's important that everyone understands what the wild horse is. The wild horse is basically a combination of two of the laws of our nature. The law of self and the law of slip. Now the law of self says we'll think of ourselves first. Now that is where we start. We don't only stay there, we go away from there at different speeds, but that's where we start. And the law of slip says that we go to the worst place we can possibly go first. If you want to have more information on that, feel free to have a look at my TEDx talk that I did on the topic, the wild horse. Now today we want to look at the first aspect. So we agreed that we would look at different areas that the wild horse impacts. And the first area I want to look at, which I think is very apt for the current situation worldwide, is the tendency to exaggerate what you are dealing with. Now, that doesn't say that we don't have very difficult things that we're dealing with. It just says that sometimes we make this horse bigger, we make this situation bigger than it needs to be. That whole thing about turning a molehill into a mountain. And the reason for that is mainly the wild horse. Now most people fall for this at this time because it is an accepted norm. Nobody's going to tell you that you shouldn't be thinking that we are all in a difficult time during this time. Everyone agrees it is a difficult time, and I absolutely don't disagree with that statement. It is a difficult time. But what happens is that what we are dealing with is being exaggerated. It becomes so big that we can't deal with it. I've heard people say, I don't know how we should deal with this future. I think everything is senseless. And we think that is a new thing. Although I can remember when I was in school, grade 1, I overheard my father say, I don't know why we even vote because there's no sense, politics is all just a scam. That was 30 odd years ago. So today is probably different, but it's the same dynamic. We still have wild horses that tell us that everything is at its extreme. We tell ourselves that it's going to be bad for ourselves, and that makes it difficult for us to deal with the things that we are dealing with on our daily basis. So my challenge to you today is, have a look at what you think about the current situation, whatever your current situation might be. Acknowledge that it is bad, but try to kind of see where you are putting it to the extreme and start managing it towards a more manageable place. And that's very often done by asking yourself, so what can I do? We always are fast at seeing what we can't do. And when we focus on everything we can't do, we feel helpless. And that is exactly what the wild horse does, because the worst thing about yourself that you can think is that you can't do anything. So the more we focus on what we can do, the more we'll feel empowered, the more we'll start dealing with things, and the more we'll start taming that wild horse that is currently just stealing so much from us. So I want to challenge you, do that exercise, have a look at what are the areas in your life where you are really exaggerating the power of your environment and the power of the current situation, and then start forcing yourself to search for more solutions, for the things that you can do, the things that are within your power, and possibly the things that you can be grateful for. And all of that will change not your world, but your attitude towards the world. And as we change our attitude towards our environment, we can deal with far more things. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, you want to ask yourself, how can I help the people around me? What wild horses do they have about the current situation? And how can I help them to improve their thinking about the current situation? Well, I hope you have fun working on this, and I wish you all the best in this process.